Hello, this is Sizwe podcast. My name is Agnes, and today I am here with my co-host, Patricia. Welcome to Patricia.
Hi, Agnes.
Hello.
How was your week?
My week has been busy. The snow is melting, and there's a lot of activities that is going on with Synconia. So, yeah, but I love it.
You love it. We're going for spring now.
Yes, almost.
And it's lighter outside.
Yeah, and my baby says, oh, now I understand why when it is 7 o'clock, there's still more sun. I'm like, yeah, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. While it lasts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's the topic today, Agnes?
Okay, so I am excited. So following what we did last week, today we bring another part of our experience here in Canada. If any of you have heard of this term, the infamous Canadian experience.
Yeah.
And today we are not going to make it like questions and answers, but we are going to share our own experiences and experiences of others that we have heard and what we think, whether it is good or bad. Mm-hmm. How about that?
And when we come to Canada, we have high hopes.
Oh my goodness, we have degrees.
And you're carrying your certificates and you have all this experience that you gathered in Africa.
Yes.
And now you come to Canada, you're looking for jobs, you're sending your resumes everywhere.
Yes.
Only to be told that we need Canadian experience.
Yes. What is Canadian experience?
What is Canadian experience?
So for me, what I came to understand is that they need to see something that you have done here, either in a company or in a particular workplace, is what you did and whether it fits into what they are looking for. So the skills that you have learned back home, have you been able to do it here, and how was it? And how do you even gain Canadian experience when you are new and all, because you came here looking for better life. And how do you get better life? Work. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to look for the job, and now they say you should bring the Canadian experience. How do you gain that?
And Jeffrey Lee, the employment specialist with CID, says employees look for Canadian workplace experience so that employers are familiar with the workplace culture,
yes,
social cues, and expectations.
Awesome.
So that's what they are looking for when they are saying we want Canadian experience. And how does one get that Canadian experience?
Very good. So I like what Jeffrey said. So when I came here, to tell you the truth, it was really annoying to me. it was like, who said I don't know how to do this? I have all the certificate to show off. I have all the experiences that I have done in my career before I came here. But when they are asking for the Canadian experience, I have grown to understand that it is needed. And I will share what I know about that. So there's work culture and work ethics that is peculiar to Canadian and peculiar to the country where I come from. And I'll talk about a few things. Like back home, when you have job, for the work that I was doing, I was a salaried paid individual. So the job is already ascribed to me, and I could make rooms around it. And sometimes, even if I have to finish work by 3:30 or 4:30, by 2:30 I have an excuse and I'll leave. But at the end of the month, I'll still be paid. But when you come here, it is not so. And so if you haven't had that experience to go to a work where they mark you by the hour, then if you get your dream job, you will crash. And I'm telling you the truth. So those Canadian experiences for me is one of the things that I have realized that it was good. That you need to find something to do to get to know the hours that they go on break. You cannot just go 10 times drinking coffee because you are cold. And I did that. And that's not a Canadian experience. Another thing that I have come to appreciate is conflict management. The work where I work in Ghana, you know, I'm a woman. I gossip a lot. And I'm like, ta, 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 ta. So sometimes there's a lot of toxicity in the workplaces where I came from. But here, there are laid up rules on how to manage conflicts. And sometimes you actually read it and they tell you the person who is creating this, you have to be bold enough to confront the person. And if it doesn't work, bring it to management. I cannot tell you, you meet me at the back of the house, I'll beat you to pulp and I'll put sand in your mouth. You can't do that here. Why do you gain that? And that is the experiences they are talking about. And when I came to understand it, I have really appreciated it. How about you, Patricia?
At times, I think it's just too much. But it also helps us to upgrade our skills, because lots of the times we come here, you end up having to go and do something for you to get the Canadian experience at the same time Canadian education. And be prepared to lower yourself. Maybe you have to get a job that's even lower than what you used to do.
Yes, and it is true. Yes,
most of the time, that's what we go through.
Yes.
So you have to take anything so that you survive.
Yes.
While you are upgrading. But in Canada, the one thing that they are serious about is giving back to the community.
Volunteering.
So there is a culture of volunteerism. That's where you get your experience.
Very good.
And there are so many places where you go to volunteer.
Yes.
Do you want to mention some of the places?
Oh, yeah. So I think lately, the air that is blowing around is there are a lot of new immigrants, and I get to meet them and I get to talk to them. You can volunteer everywhere in Canada, depending on which city or state you are watching us from, or if you are planning to come to Canada. There are Edmonton Food Bank. We have Food Bank here in Edmonton, and they always need volunteers. There is a Habitat for Humanity. There's Find. There are a lot of group homes which are opened to people to come and volunteer their time. The good thing is the employers here value your volunteering time as much as somebody who is being paid. So when you go, there is something that is like onboarding or orientation. They will take you through an orientation just like you have been employed. And then you will flow with any other team member or whichever area that you choose. And you will work the hours like the person that is going to be paid, or the worker that is going to be paid. The beautiful thing is when you put those things on your resume, no one is going to ask you, were you just a volunteer or you worked? It is your Canadian experience. And the employers need it. And Patricia just hinted on something very good. You know, my cousin came here. He was a medical doctor, but he has to get his hands involved in everything, in group activities, in seniors programs, and everything, just to gain how doctors work with community here. Because in Ghana, doctors are untouchable. Even sometimes when you walk to a doctor's office, you are so scared to even discuss your own illness. Even what the doctor has written, you are scared to even ask the doctor, oh, doctor, what did you write? But here, he learns that you really have to come to the level of the patient who is in your office and make them feel comfortable, and even share some of the information that you have written for them to know what you have. So those things, like he came and said, yeah, these things, I think I need it. He didn't get paid. You know, back home, and that I want to talk about this thing about volunteering. Where I came from, when I am taken out of my job place to go and even go for volunteer, there's per diem, those who know what I mean. So when we come here and we talk about volunteering, people are expecting something.
Especially people who come from Africa, they
very
expect
good,
something.
yes, yeah. Here, volunteering is volunteering. And Patricia said something very important again. Those are how did you say it? It's a country of giving. Yes. Giving back, right?
It's a country. Okay. It's a culture of volunteering.
Yes.
They give back through through volunteering. They donate money. You know, the one thing about Canadians, they are very big in donating money to non-profits, to donating money
to international
projects, though they will not give you money.
Yes.
Because there are jobs here in Canada, they expect you to be able to cope.
Yes.
But they give a lot. That is through volunteering.
Yes.
Monetary terms.
Yes.
Even food.
Yes. So like for me, for example, we have a lot of support from mainstream organizations like Rotary Club. Like, you'll be surprised the skill set of the people in that club and how they come to our level to give their time to help the program that we are doing. I think we are also supposed to do that when we come here. When we come here, those things are not in our default. And programs like this, shows like this, will be able to prepare you to understand the culture. If you don't have that experience, it is so hard for you to get a job of your choice. I think you've all heard that some people come here as medical doctors, as engineers, and sometimes they end up doing the jobs that they are not, or they were not doing back home. It is because you don't have the experience and you cannot be employed in those jobs until you have been able to gain those experience, like Patricia said, either through volunteering or going to school.
And in volunteering, the other thing is that you have to take it serious as a job.
Yes.
If you have to start at 8, be there at 8. If you have to finish at 3, finish at 3. Lunchtime, follow that time, because that's where you are going to get references.
Very good.
Because
yes,
Canada is also big on references. We want a job reference. So where do you get a job reference when you are new in Canada? So it is through that volunteerism that you get all those things. So it's a new thing, and we all have to get used to it. Sometimes it's not very nice because you are like, I want to work. I want to send money to Africa.
Yes. So you are here and you are like, oh, my first job, you've already break the money down. But your first job might never or may not be a paid job. If you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast. And guess what we are talking about today? The infamous Canadian experience. Where do you gain it? And how important it is for new immigrants to be able to find a job to do. First, to put food on your table, to have a roof on your head, before you can even try to put the skill that you came. And Patricia, I think we want to make this emphasis. It's not like the skill set that you came here, the Canadians don't need it. Because you know that some of you come here from the express entry, where it is you already come here as a skilled worker. You are geologists, engineers, lawyers, and all those things. But job is not set there for you to work in. Few people get that. When I came here, I hated the Canadian experience. I came here, I had a Bachelor of Education. I was a teacher. I have taught in Ghana for 13 years before I came here. Ask me and I'll tell you what happened to me.
And you were ready to teach the Canadians.
Oh, yes.
The Ghanaian way, and tell them all about Canada.
It didn't happen. But looking back, I think I like the system that they have put in place.
And Canada is also big on job references.
Very good, yes. And that's what you talked about. Like,
yes, yeah. And so what are they looking for from a job experience? So what is it, you can tell the people, what are some of the things that they are looking for?
Okay, so for me, when I ask you for a job reference, so if I hire you, you come for an interview, you tell me what you can do. Your resume also tells me that. And then I need to speak to somebody here. You can put a reference, 2 or 3 people on your resume, but I need to speak to somebody here of how you did in their firm or in their space. How were you able to work together? Canada is big in what we call, you have to be a team player. At the same time, you have to be able to work individually with very little supervision. They want to see that. So if I call your references, I need to know this. And I need to know how you manage stress. Here, everybody think everybody is stressed. So if you come and you say you are stressed, oh, I don't know how you manage stress. So if I call your reference, I want to know how does he or she manage stress? And when there was a conflict, has there been any chance of a conflict? And I am a big person on the conflict. I like conflict. So I will ask that when there was a conflict, or has there been an issue of a conflict, and how did that person manage it? It is going to happen in all the places. And so I need to know, and that a lot of employers need to know. So one thing, okay, you go ahead, and I think there's something I want to add to this.
And the other thing is that don't just write anyone on your job reference. Let them know first. Ask them, can I use you as my reference? Because prepare the person, because if somebody just calls me and says, so-and-so put you as a reference, and I don't know. So I'm like, what reference? Even a supervisor, ask them if you could add them as your reference.
Yes.
And then when you do that, then they're aware and they know what type of a position you are looking for. That way they are able to speak on your behalf.
Very, 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 yeah. So you can call the places that you have volunteered and then tell them that, oh, I have just applied for this job and they are asking me for a reference. Is it okay for me to put your name? And nobody, most of the time, I'm sure you will not call the person you had issue with. So you call the people that you know that will saw you work, and they will give a very good, and Canadians are good about that. They will really give you a very high rating. Go to that job and prove them right. Don't let them down. There's one thing that I'll also say, and if those who are coming from my African country, we don't ask a lot of questions. When you get the opportunity to go and volunteer, please ask your supervisor or whoever you are going to work under to put you through orientation. It is very, very, very important, and I can't stress much on it. Ask for it, even if they don't. Oh yeah, you can. Oh, you go and do it. No. Ask the person to take you through what is expected of you. I know you are an individual, you have your brain, you have your certificate. No, just ask them to take you through the way they do things here, or the way they do things in that department, so that you get that skill. One thing I like about workplaces here is that every skill that you gain, it is applicable in all other places, depending on where you are put. So if you get that orientation, then you can ask questions. Don't be like back home where you say, oh, this is my boss. I remember when I came here, my employer used to go to a lot of places and he said, Agnes, let's go. And I'm like, one day he said, Agnes, how come when I ask you, let's go do this, let's go to this show you done? I'm like, you are not my friend, you are my boss. She laughed. So please, sometimes some of the supervisors are going to be very friendly, and you have questions, please ask them, because those are the skills that you are chalking, and it is going to help you a lot. If you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and today we are talking about the Canadian experience. And if you are new to Canada, you are struggling with job, you've put in 257 applications and you are not hearing anything from the employers, please check if you have enough Canadian experience on the resumes you have sent out there.
And find places to volunteer, especially on your field. Some places would ask you to come and volunteer. Whatever field you are in, you can always ask, can I help you with this? Can I help you with this?
Very good.
Even when you are attending school, ask the school to volunteer so that by the time you finish school, now you have Canadian experience.
Yes.
Especially for international students.
Very good. And there's one thing too that we want to talk about, and that is preparing your resumes. Back home, we call it CV. We prepare one CV and we look at it and you're like, wow, this is going to sell.
Yeah.
Here it's not like that. So like Patricia said, when you come, you have your skill set, you have your dream job, but you are going to go through a lot of places. You are going to work in different settings. So you have to create your resumes according to the places and what they are looking for. Let me give you a tip. When you see that the job posted, go through it and see what they are looking for, and steal some of that and put it on your resume. I'm not saying go put something that you don't know how to do. So look at what they are looking for, and then those things that you think, oh yeah, I can do that, add it to your resume. If you are applying in places like, say, McDonald's, look at what they are looking for and then put them there. You can't take that same resume to go and apply for a group home. So you have, I don't know how many resumes. I have, yes, Patricia.
And the thing that you look at is the job description.
Very good.
So use some of the wording that's on the job description on your resume.
Yes.
Especially if you know that you can do this, you have done this. So they might have phrased it in a different way.
Yeah.
But now you have to steal that and put it on your resume. Because sometimes the resume, nobody looks at the resume, but the computer picks those resumes.
Yes.
So it will pick them according to the job description and what you've written on your own resume. So that's another hint that you have to use. Just change your resume as you get here and look at the format on how they do their resume. Go on the internet and check Canadian resume. The format might be different than Africa. So use that format.
Use that format. Very good. If you just join us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and Patricia and I today are talking about the Canadian experience. When we come here with a big dream. I think a lot of you have heard this, that, somebody is it's a doctor and now he's driving a taxi. Somebody is an engineer and the person is doing the job that he's not doing. It's not that person's fault, guys. It is not. The challenges or the things that individual have to go through to be able to come to the place where he was before he came here, it takes a long road. But in between that, there is hope. There are a lot of jobs that we can do. You know, back home, like I said, if you have a job, you have a job. Nobody is going to kick you out if you don't misbehave. But here, it's not like that. You can reinvent yourself in so many ways. And that is one of the advantages, that don't put yourself in a strict jacket. You came here as an engineer. I respect you. But before you get that job, your dream job, you will work at the trenches, and you need those things to put on your resume when you get that dream job. And that is what we are talking about by your Canadian experience. And Patricia has shared a lot. How we get the Canadian experience is volunteering. You know, when some of the people come to my office, I'm like, have you even babysit your auntie's daughter? Yes, if that is the only thing you have done, just put it on it. Just because here,
taking care of kids.
Taking care of kids. When I was coming here, I came here as a nanny. And there's something that I didn't know. I got interviewed by my employer. And then she asked me something, Agnes, so how about routine? How would you take Lauren through routine? To tell you the truth, I was an adult with my own kids. I was over 34 years when I was going through this interview. And I didn't know what she meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You understand? I think she was just graceful. And I came. So when I came, the reason why I'm talking about the orientation, she took me through Lauren's day's life. Yeah, this is what you have to do. So if you Agnes, if you keep doing this, by the time she's ready to go to daycare, she has already gotten the routine. She never expected. When she said the routine, I'm like, that is what she was talking.
Yes.
Yes. So by 7, 8, we have our breakfast. We go for a walk. By 11 something, we come home. I prepare the lunch. They eat. We play a little bit. She go for a nap for 1.5 to 2 hours. And then when she wake up, we have to go to the park. Oh, Agnes, when don't take her outside before 3 p.m. because the sun is too hot. I didn't know any of these things. Agnes, don't give her junk food. I'm like, what is junk food anyways? So she has to take me through all of this, and don't take them for a joke. Those skills that I learned in Heather's house, the first 2 years of my life here, are still tools that I use in all my kids' programs up to today.
So they have a reason to say we went Canadian experience.
Oh yes, there is when you come here you wouldn't like it, but there's a great reason behind it.
But the good part about Canada, if you work hard, no matter where you started,
yes,
you reach your goal.
Definitely. So
you might start doing being a
nanny.
A nanny, like
yes, a housekeeper
after being a teacher.
After being a teacher for 13 years. Yes.
And you came here, you stayed for how many years? Was it 3 years?
I worked as a nanny for 2 years, and then I have to get an open work permit to go and try another job. So then I got a daycare job. So that has really, it's not like I was a doctor back home and I came here. And no. So for me, it has been a blessing. But the experience is good. Trust me. When they ask you, don't get angry.
And there are so many opportunities in Canada. So be open when you come here. Enjoy what you are doing. It for that time, you know that is temporary. At the end of the day, you reach your goal. The still Canadian dream is still there.
Awesome. And I want to say these words to most of the employers that will be getting these volunteers. Please get to know them. Ask them about how they are doing. And find a way. For me, I have a lot of such people that come to me. And sometimes you ask them, and it's just a small thing. The fact that they were able to sit down and share their day with you, how is your day going, helps them a lot. It is not easy to be in a country when you are new. It is not easy. So let's help reduce the stress and make their life busy, because when we retire, they are still going to take over from us. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.